You're getting enough sleep. At least you think you are. You're eating reasonably. You're not doing anything dramatically wrong. But you're tired. Constantly tired. Not the exhausted from working hard tired. The baseline, pervasive, nothing in the tank tired that doesn't get better on weekends. Research identifies multiple mechanisms that steal energy from people who appear to be living normally. Most of them are invisible until you know what to look for. Chronic fatigue is not a minor inconvenience. A comprehensive review in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that persistent fatigue independent of diagnosed disease affects approximately 20% of the adult U.S. population, and in most cases has identifiable, addressable causes that are not being investigated or treated. The authors noted, fatigue is rarely adequately assessed by clinicians, leading to prolonged suffering that is frequently modifiable through targeted lifestyle and nutritional interventions. Energy research spans sleep medicine, endocrinology, nutrition science, and exercise physiology. The science of chronic fatigue, separate from clinical conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, has identified multiple overlapping mechanisms that compound to produce the low-energy state that many people experience as normal. In this video, we are going to see the most evidence-supported causes of unexplained daily fatigue, their biological mechanisms, and what the research shows are the most effective interventions for each. The most counterintuitive finding in fatigue research: sitting all day makes you more tired, not less. Research on sedentary behavior shows that physical inactivity leads to reduced cardiovascular efficiency, lower tissue oxygenation, impaired mitochondrial density, and lower norepinephrine and dopamine baseline levels, all of which directly reduce perceived energy. Studies consistently find that even light physical activity like walking produces acute improvements in energy and mood that last for hours. Micronutrient deficiencies are among the most common and most overlooked drivers of chronic fatigue. Research on 4 key nutrients consistently shows that deficiency in any one produces fatigue as a primary symptom. Iron, essential for red blood cell oxygen transport. Vitamin B12, required for neurological energy metabolism. Vitamin D, involved in mitochondrial function and mood regulation. And magnesium, a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic reactions including ATP energy production. Sleep quantity is not the same as sleep quality. Research shows you can sleep 8 hours and still be significantly sleep deprived if your sleep architecture is disrupted. Alcohol, even moderate amounts, fragment sleep architecture, suppressing REM and deep sleep stages while allowing you to log total hours in bed. Blue light exposure before bed delays melatonin and pushes sleep onset later. Thosar and colleagues at Oregon Health and Science University demonstrated that prolonged sitting, even after a prior period of exercise, produces progressive reductions in blood flow and endothelial function. They found that just 3 hours of continuous sitting impaired the function of the popliteal artery by 50%. With reduced vascular function comes reduced oxygen delivery to muscles and organs, and reduced oxygen delivery directly correlates with fatigue. Research on magnesium and fatigue shows a clear mechanistic connection. Magnesium is a required cofactor for adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the universal energy currency of every cell. Without adequate magnesium, ATP synthesis is impaired at the cellular level, meaning muscles and neurons literally cannot generate energy efficiently. Studies show that even modest magnesium insufficiency, below the optimal range but not technically deficient, produces measurable fatigue, muscle weakness, and poor exercise tolerance in healthy adults. Chronic psychological stress is one of the most powerful energy thieves identified in the research. The stress response activates the HPA axis, chronically elevating cortisol. Sustained cortisol elevation depletes precursor molecules for energy metabolism, suppresses thyroid function, disrupts sleep architecture, and shifts the body into a catabolic state that consumes energy rather than building reserves. Studies show that people under chronic work or social stress have 30 to 40% higher rates of significant fatigue compared to stress-matched controls who. 5 additional energy thieves that research identifies and that most people don't investigate. Thyroid hyperfunction. Even subclinical hypothyroidism causes profound fatigue. Blood sugar dysregulation. The post-meal energy crash from high glycemic foods is a direct metabolic energy depletion event. Dehydration. Even mild dehydration of 1 to 2% body weight reduces cognitive function and energy by measurable amounts. Gut inflammation. Chronic gut permeability triggers systemic inflammatory cytokines that cross the blood-brain barrier and produce fatigue. And sleep. The energy recovery framework targets the highest yield changes first. First, test for nutritional deficiencies, a basic blood panel for iron, ferritin, B12, vitamin D, and magnesium can identify the most common fixable causes of fatigue. Second, optimize sleep quality, not just quantity. Cut alcohol, blue light after 8 p.m., and late eating. Third, break sedentary patterns. Even a 5-minute walk every hour demonstrably improves energy compared to continuous sitting. A systematic investigation of your personal fatigue pattern helps identify the dominant cause. If fatigue is worst in the morning, the likely culprits are poor sleep quality, hypothyroidism, or iron deficiency. If it's worst after meals, the pattern points to blood sugar dysregulation. If it's worst by mid-afternoon, dehydration, magnesium deficiency, or sedentary behavior are most likely. If fatigue is constant and doesn't respond to rest, B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, or chronic stress-driven HPA dysregulation should be investigated. Start with the investigation, not the solution, because different causes require different fixes. Get a blood test this month. Ask for iron with ferritin, B12, 25OH vitamin D, and magnesium RBC. Red blood cell magnesium is more accurate than serum. Review your alcohol consumption. Even 2 drinks 3 to 4 nights per week measurably degrades sleep quality. Look at your afternoon habits. How much water have you had by 3 p.m.? Are you sitting continuously from morning to evening? If blood tests come back normal but fatigue persists, then ask for a comprehensive thyroid panel beyond just TSH. Free T3 and T4 provide more actionable information about thyroid function. If you're sleeping what seems like adequate hours but feel unrefreshed consistently, then consider an at-home sleep apnea screening or polysomnography. Sleep apnea is epidemic and almost universally underdiagnosed despite being highly treatable. Chronic fatigue is not a character flaw or an inevitable consequence of a busy life. It is a signal from biological systems that are undersupplied or overstressed. The research identifies specific, addressable causes: micronutrient deficiencies, sleep architecture disruption, sedentary-induced vascular impairment, blood sugar dysregulation, and chronic cortisol overload. Most people with persistent unexplained fatigue have 2 or 3 of these operating simultaneously. Find them, address them specifically, and the energy that feels permanently gone begins to return. Understanding what's actually causing your fatigue is the first step to fixing it. MedBrief today is here to give you the research that makes that possible. If this helped you see your energy differently, keep watching. There's more ahead. If today's video helped clarify something, share it with someone who needs it. Most people never see research summarize this clearly. That's exactly what this channel is here to do.